Hi. In this section of HRD in India, I would like to focus on the implementation of various HRD systems since 1974-1975, when we formulated the integrated HRD systems approach for the corporate sector. I think in the first stage, the focus for the first decade, 1975 to 1985, was largely on implementation of performance appraisal systems. Performance appraisals were conceptualized as a performance planning tool and performance development tool of the individual in relation to the roles they performed. Planning was done through identification of key performance areas or KPIs. We were very clear in our mind what needs to be planned is performance, not the results. Results are planned at the macro level by the organization. Results are non-negotiable. It may be in terms of increases in profits, increases in sales, production targets to be met. Solid parameters are available. Therefore, there was no need for any ambiguity for any corporation in terms of the results they aimed at getting. Once the results are known or planned by the company, these are made available to various departments. In the performance appraisal, what is focused is for the individual, with the help of his boss or the senior, to identify the key performance areas that will lead the person to perform his job well and provide inputs that are required to achieve the departmental or organizational goals. So it was not easy in the case of managers to identify the key performance areas. Most of the time, managers use it to plan for results, which resulted in quite a bit of negotiation and discussion. In spite of our training a large number of them, what is important to plan is your inputs in terms of your behavior, activities that you do, and things like that. The second important part was periodic review of performance through performance counseling. Those days we called it performance counseling, every quarter or every half-yearly kind of a period. But the performance counseling was to be based on an analysis of the performance by the individual for the past 3 months or 6 months period, where he or she identified the factors that have helped him to achieve whatever achievements have been done in terms of KPIs, and also factors that prevented the person from doing better. The performance analysis was to be collected department-wise, identified factors which cut across the department, and the head of the department is supposed to reduce the inhibiting factors and enhance the facilitating factors. Theoretically, it sounds very good, but when it came to implementation, quite often performance analysis was not done properly, and it was not communicated properly, and the HR department, I must say, in many places failed to consolidate the qualitative data emerging from the performance analysis and initiate what we can call as organization development or departmental development interventions. That was the original idea. That is how, if the performance analysis was done well, it was supposed to have resulted in performance improvements and also removal of permanently inhibiting factors and strengthen the facilitating factors. And through the review discussion, the appraiser, the reporting officer, is supposed to add to the wisdom of the appraisee and suggest alternatives. And also the appraisee, by doing the analysis, is supposed to communicate the grassroots level or at his role level realities, so that the appraiser can set realistic goals and also plan for performance improvements. In many cases, the performance review discussions did not take place the way it was envisaged. And in the beginning, when people were trained, they would do it meticulously, spend about 45 minutes to an hour. But over a period of time, this comes down to something like 10-15 minutes of a performance review discussion. Whereas in our estimate, the performance review discussion is the most educative part of the performance appraisal, because that is where a lot of interpersonal communication takes place, empowerment takes place, understanding of the expectations of the senior, and understanding the difficulties of the performer takes place. But when adequate time is not given, adequate preparation is not given, you know what happens. The other component which was important in performance appraisal, as we envisaged as a development tool, was feedback and coaching. The review discussion is supposed to be a feedback and counseling kind of a session. And many companies, we started giving skills to develop um, the the art and science of giving feedback and using feedback for development and so on. This was carried out, I must say, maybe reasonably well. Another important part of the performance appraisal those days was all of this should result in discussing the attributes that are required to perform, and therefore laying ground for development and so on. The final part of the performance appraisal is the ratings. Now, this is what became the most important focal point, which distracted most managers from following the performance planning, performance analysis, identification of developmental needs, and other development actions got to the background. These all became the background, and most often appraisal discussions were perceived as painful and was not leading to the kind of development that we envisaged. I must also be fair to most of the managers who have implemented this very seriously. In Larsen and Toubro, in State Bank of India later, and in Bharat Movers, and in Crompton Greaves, and many of the other companies which have taken up performance appraisal as the first subsystem of HRD to build individual competencies in relation to his role were done pretty seriously. Surveys were conducted. I think these results were also published in our book, Designing and Managing Human Resource Systems. So, the focus of HRD in the initial years in many organizations was performance appraisal. Whereas we envisaged that besides performance appraisal, potential assessment should be done by identifying the competencies. Those days we didn't use the term competencies, we used the term attributes required to perform the next higher level of jobs, and put the person through some kind of an assessment center, and then identify the development gaps and prepare development actions. This did not take place at all. For example, it took almost 10 years for Larsen and Toubro to move from performance appraisal to potential appraisal. I still remember one of the earliest exercises done by Denison Pereira was identifying attributes required to be a successful performer at senior management level. There is a list of attributes developed those days, about 42 of them, again listed in our book on designing and managing human resource systems. When you go through these 42 attributes that were identified by Dr. Pereira and his team of Larsen and Toubro, you will find even today these attributes are valid and very thoughtful ones. For example, nowadays we talk of resilience. Pereira and team identified resilience as one of the most important qualities required in the year 1976-77 itself. Unfortunately, L&T's potential appraisal stopped with identifying these and using this again through some kind of a formal confidential rating system, but did not get into assessment centers. State Bank of India between 1978 and its associates between 1978 and 85-86 did a marvelous job of training a large number of people on doing performance appraisal the way envisaged it rightly. Unfortunately, post 1987-88, after about 8-9 years of experimentation in State Bank of India and its associates, change in top management in the HRD removed all the capabilities of HRD people developed to implement systems. Then the entire exercise of performance appraisal became one of negotiation between the officers association and the top management. When officers started arguing about the key performance areas, not understanding and differentiating KPS from KRS, and resulted in sometimes, I think, almost abandoning the system. By about late 80s, the system, only the basic minimum requirements were followed, and the original philosophy objectives were gone. I attribute largely to the change of leadership at the corporate level, at the executive director, chief general managers, and the directors, MD level at State Bank of India and its associates. I must mention in the initial stages, associates of State Bank of India, when they did not get any training on performance appraisal, started working on the organizational climate, because we said one of the tasks of HRD is to create a climate. So the banks, associate banks started developing organizational climate questionnaires, motivational climate questionnaires, and started analyzing and working on how to improve the climate in the organization so that people are facilitated to give their best. But even this, once the appraisal took the focal point, the organizational climate survey became a little bit redundant or went to the background. In Bharat Movers, we actually tried, when I joined Bharat Mover as an advisor in general manager's capacity, my main task was to initiate the performance appraisal system, initiate a potential appraisal system. In fact, we started a service called as self-assessment through feedback on instruments to give the managers in Bharat Movers a taste of what development means. Development requires an assessment of where you stand, first identifying the variable, then assessing yourself, then planning out mechanisms for improving. Those days, we did not develop unique tests meant for the corporation, but whatever tests were available, we started using that. For example, we identified the tests like extroversion introversion questionnaire by H.J. Eisenk, given in know Your Own Personality, FIRO-B, internal locus of control of LOTA, interpersonal trust, and supervisory styles or leadership styles, which I developed after working with David McClellan and so on. So these people did appreciate this, and they did get some benefit out of these discussions, but these were there as long as I was there pushing this. Unfortunately, after a year's, actually a little more than a few months, 7-8 months of work with Bharat Movers, I returned back to IIM Ahmedabad, and we had General Mani, who was the chairman and managing director, who was a very high enthusiast in pushing the implementation of HRD systems. His contention was that promotion decisions are biased, and therefore he wanted an objective system to be evolved. But that was a long way to go. We were busy stabilizing the new development-oriented performance appraisal system. I must mention here, both in Larsen & Toubro and in State Bank of India, and later in Crompton Greaves as well as Bharat Movers, we very clearly recommended that appraisals are meant to serve the development purpose and not control. The best way to control is by developing people and clarifying what they are expected to do. So our even original report of Larsen & Toubro says that appraisals are to be de-linked from incentives. It doesn't mean that performance should not be linked. It is the appraisal rating should be de-linked, and performance should be assessed by other kind of methods. So this was a very interesting kind of a phase. I'll continue this in the next part of this